up. See, I'm not even about to take all day. Watch this. Let me tell you something, boy. The people in Rosemont, that is some crazy scheming, uh, conniving motherfuckers, right? I'm gonna have to, okay, I'm gonna wait like 1 minute, and then I'm gonna lay this, let y'all watch this video I did. It was actually like last year. I think it was last year. It might have been maybe the year before. But it's like the groundwork. Because I was kind of thinking this anyway. I was thinking this the whole time. So I'm gonna wait like 60 seconds, and then I'm gonna refresh y'all memory with this video. I asked a question. In the comments, nobody like really answered it, but I think people got the gist of what I was saying. I mean, I'm gonna remind y'all what was going on. But so get a few more seconds, man. I don't know. People had made it home from work or whatever. And we're gonna put this right on out there. I don't give a damn how they feel about it. Go to this video, share my screen. What's up, Letha? How you doing? Um, I am okay. Yeah, that's the right one. All right, so I'm gonna refresh our memory first of all by playing this video. I did this video. It might have been last year. It was last year or the year before. I'm not sure, but uh, just to give y'all an idea where I'm going with this. So just check out this video. It asks a couple questions, but you'll it'll all make sense in a minute. Let's see. Should be sharing my screen. Hopefully y'all can hear the audio. If you can't hear it, let me know. Yeah, this video right here. What is it called? I forgot the title of this shit. Kanika Jenkins case questions. Yeah, thoughts and you get a clue. Okay. Let me know if y'all can't hear this. Um, Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. You see, they even went so far as to have the news had to point that out. They had to point out that they she went back there and there's no way out and all this and all that, right? So there's no way out back there. Okay, this is what I'm gonna show y'all, right? I kind of hinted on this in a question that I posed to. I had asked you guys in another video. It's a real short video, like 1 minute, and it just shows you the extent that they went to convince you and me that ain't nothing going on. Whatever we see is what we see. I told you in my last video about that Pharaoh scan that there's only one logical reason why they would have even done that Pharaoh scan. That's because they want us to believe that, hey, that's the way the kitchen was. We even took a Pharaoh scan so that we'd have a lifelong record of it, of what the floor plan was. Uh, I did this video, and it was just the interview from the reporter lady asking this question. Listen to what Andrew Holmes says. Listen to the question. Nobody asked him any of that. Was she alone? Is anybody with her? That's what the woman asked him. But he proceeds to tell us all about ain't no way out back here. There's no window. It's solid. Who asked you any of that? Sometimes you just let people run their mouth. They're just going to do too much talking. So that's always been nagging me because I've always felt like there's more to it with that. So what I did was I took the Pharaoh scan file that they provided us, uh, and I put it into. Let me share my screen again. I'll show you. Put it into the Amped 5 software. That forensic software that I mentioned to you guys in the last video. I put it into that program because I wanted to use the measuring or the ruler or whatever it's called. But there's a tool on there that you could use to measure distances, provided you have some distance to start with. There's another file. I could probably pull that up, but you guys probably remember it. The police officer, some detective, or I don't know, maybe it's just a Rosemont police officer. He had provided measurements for inside the freezer area. And to be perfectly honest, to use this tool, you don't have to know what those measurements are because regardless what you input, it's going to give you accurate answers, for the calculations we're going to do. But I'll use his measurements. His totals. He measured the length or the height here as 7 feet, and across of the freezer totaled 5 feet. He doesn't say that specifically in his notes, but if you do the calculations, I mean, you just do the math. He combined like from the evidence marker to the wall, and from this point to that point, he didn't measure from one wall to the other. But if you add up the distances, just use a little math, and it comes out to 5 feet wide and 7 feet up and down. So to keep a record of this, I have another window open, and it is for simply to jot down the notes that, matter of fact, let me share this other way so that you guys can follow with me and you're not stuck on one screen. Let's see. I'll share the window entire screen, and that way you guys are you're following along with me. Okay, so now I have it on this. This is just a open paint program that I can, draw on. So that way we'll take down the notations because this is like a little math class right here. But you'll see it's really simple. You'll see really easily how they manipulated this file and why they did it. I'm going to explain it to you why they did it. Let me see. This is a little too big. Go out a little bit for now. But we're focused on obviously this area here. This is the freezer cooler. And I've already made like a little adjustment here. This is my belief. It goes right here. I said this in a live video I did a couple years ago. I didn't have all the answers of why they may have did it. But for now, I'll go back to the original file. This is the way it looks, the way they presented it to us. But this is supposed to be over here. They deliberately did this, and I'm going to tell you why. But first, now that you see this, I'm going to go back to the software program so you can see how I did the measurements, how I came up with it. So if we have 7 feet here, I'm going to go to my little measurement tool here because we got to input the values. So we'll go from here to here, which will be, oh, wait a minute. Did I screw it up? I may have. Okay, I'll start over. Whoops. I'm tripping. I'll start over. I'll do it again. Told you I'm still new with this software, so I don't know how to go back. So I'll just open the tool again. So we go from here to here. And now I've got to enter the length for that known distance. I don't know why I'm not seeing it up there, so I'll do it again. Let's go from here to here. Oh, I guess it disappears. Okay, well, anyway, I'm going to put the length in there. That is 7 feet. We'll just use feet. I'm not going to convert it to centimeters or whatever. Matter of fact, I'll convert it to inches. That way you can kind of see how precise it is. It'll give you a better idea how precise the measurements are. So inches is 12 inches in a foot. That'd be 84 inches. We got there. So now we're going to go to the y-axis, the other known distance that we know. He measured this as 5 feet. So we're going to go from here to here. 5 feet, which is 60 inches. But that is 60. Now we're going to go over here to the measure tool. Now what I want to measure is the total length from the freezer to the end, as they have shown, the end of the cooler. Let's see how long that is. It's going to give me the calculation. Let's see. I don't know if I should go through that line or not. I don't think I should. 84 inches. Okay, well, this is the problem. It's not converting it. 212, 52, I don't know what all that is. $84, 60 to measure. Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to think, do I have to convert this or not? I don't know. 210. How are they coming up with 210 based on the numbers I used? That's like 21,000. Something's off here. Okay, wait a minute. The ruler. Points, okay. Oh, okay, I see what I did wrong. I know what I did. I told you I'm still learning this software, so I gotta go to, where is it, ruler? Okay, so now I gotta do this again. My bad. If I was real proficient with this, then, I'd get it on the first try, but let's go. We're on ruler. Okay, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to measure it. We're gonna go here, here. That was 84. Y. I think these are the right direction. I don't know if it matters, X and Y, but this was 60. Okay. I don't know what this is. I'm doing something. Okay, now it's giving me a whole different. Let's see. That's -1. My. Hold on 1 second. Hold up. Let me see something. Damn, that was simple. Okay. I should. I had my mind. I was thinking this anyhow, and I actually spoke on it. But yeah, I had the coordinates backwards. I guess you have to enter them the right way that they go. So let me share my screen again. Where am I at? Hold on. Okay. All right. Now let's go back to this damn tool. Okay. So I have to enter them correctly. Actually, the x axis goes this way, left and right, and the y goes the other direction because it has to compute these values. I guess, it's doing some calculations behind the scenes. So I guess I have to enter them the right way. So this direction, we'll go this way first, was because I recall that it stayed lit when you enter the right values. You can see what you're doing. Okay, so this was 60 inches, and then the Y was 84. 84. So I want to see what the length of this entire freezer is. Oh, let's go to measure here to here. 143.43. Now, real quickly, 143. I'm not even going to do the decimal stuff, but we'll say divided by 12. That way we'll convert it to feet. Gives us 11.9 feet, almost 12 feet from one wall to the other, based on the numbers we entered. So that's 11.9, almost 12 feet. So now I want to measure from this, no, not from there, from this wall, which is where I believe the end of the freezer actually is, to this wall. Because this is the end right before you go into that little pantry, this little kitchen area right here, that little back room. This is where I believe the wall ends, obviously, because it just only makes sense. Why would the cooler extend halfway through the wall? I mean, it's just to make this area uniform on the outside, a building architect or developer would probably make the corners square and so forth. It's just common sense. So if I believe this is over here, then the end of it should end right about here. So we're going to take this measurement from here and go to approximately somewhere in here, 140, or it might be a little bit more. Let's see. Let's go a little bit farther because I don't know exactly. It's so distorted right here. You can't tell precisely where it ends. So let's go just a little bit further. But you already can see the distances. It's almost an exact same distance within 3 or 4 inches. I don't know. Maybe it goes a little bit further this way or something. I don't know. But pretty much this exact space here is the same length of this cooler and the freezer. So if we are to believe that, hey, they just shifted it over on these files and in the Faro scan, they shifted it all over, then the question then becomes, well, why? Why would they do that? I had stated when I very first saw this picture in the files, or it wasn't in the files, but Gray Hughes did a 360 video. I think that was the first time that it was actually shown because in all the other photos, they have the door blocking. You can't see what's on this wall. And I found that a little bit suspicious. I'm like, I wonder why we can't see to the right when you go in there. They had it all blocked. So Gray Hughes. Keep this in mind. We're talking about Gray Hughes here. He made a 360 video, and this apparently is what is supposed to be on that side. I knew right away. Just working in kitchens, this is bullshit. There's no company, no developer would even dream of doing this. I mean, it raises so many questions. Not to mention that this aluminum siding, that's what this is, prefabricated aluminum. This is available in like different colors. You can have this painted just to be more pleasing to the eye. It can be off-white or beige. You can have this aluminum painted. So there's no way any building would be satisfied with this as a final look. It just looks terrible. So I knew this was bogus when I first saw it. It's like, no, they're not going to have the freezer wall be that. That's what represents the wall there. Then you have to ask yourself, well, what was there before the freezer was put there? Was it just open? Is that how they designed the building? It was just open space, and then they put the freezer there. I mean, it makes no sense. So, with that in mind, I'm going to go back to my. Oh, by the way, these were the measurements in that file that I told you about that the officer wrote down for us. And if you do the calculations, you're going to come up with 5 feet and 7 feet for the dimensions of the freezer. So, I'm going to take you back to this. And first, we'll go to the paint program so I can show you what the finished locations would be if it were where I believe it correctly is. Right there. Now you'll notice that if this was positioned the way I believe it correctly is, then if you were looking at this building from the outside, you just have the solid wall, then you have a corner here. I don't believe this would be a corner. Obviously it wouldn't, because the freezer wall wouldn't be here. So something had to have been here. Either it was an exit, a driveway, a hallway, or something. Something was here. And this is the area that Andrew Holmes tries to convince us that, hey, there's no way back there. Trust me, there's nothing there. It's solid. Of course, this is also the area that they blocked from view in all of the crime scene photos. They would not show that area. Conveniently, they'd have a door positioned just so it blocked your view. So, if this is the correct position, what does this mean? Well, the reason I believe that they changed the files to this is for two reasons. Number one, they want to conceal the fact that this was open. This was open, or it was a door. It was some access back this way. This was not blocked off by the wall of the freezer. They want to hide that fact. That's first and foremost. But the main reason, even though that's significant enough, but the main reason is that we'll go back to my little friend here. And I'm going to change tools to there's a little pointing tool. Let's see, I'll erase this, get this measurement stuff off of here. I'm going to use this pointing tool to give you an idea about the angle of the camera view. This is the primary reason that I believe they had to shift it. Let me zoom out here so you can see the camera. Now, the camera would be, if I'm correct, it'd be right here. Matter of fact, we're going to make sure. Let's zoom in a little bit and see if that's where the camera location is. It would be right here. That's where the camera would be. I think these are sprinkler heads. Yes, the camera is back here. And it is looking, over towards the cooler area. Go out just a little bit more. Hold on, maybe I don't have to. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this pointer tool, and it'll show you, give you an idea from the camera. It's going to give you like an idea of the field of vision for the lens, what the lens can actually capture based on the angle that it is. Now, if the camera's right here, we'll make that our starting point. The camera's right here. Obviously, we're going to go around the corner of this, that little corner that she walks around. It would have to go there, around that corner, around that other corner, and this is the approximate angle that it would capture. Let's see, around that corner, because we can't have our line going through any of the corners. See how we got this corner right here? It's not going through, so it has to be on the outside. It's seen through there, so it captures about right here. It can't go right here because that would have us going through the office, and we can't see like that. So this is the angle that it sees. From right there, and that's the furthest to the left it sees, which kind of coincides with the angle that you see. Looking at the image here, just as we have it now, you can see that, let's see, it only goes as far as just to the left of that cooler door, or just to the right side. It's just out of view, the door is. Let's see. I don't know if it'll erase my tool. No, it shows you. You see, our farthest vision, field of view to the left is just missing the door, where the door entrance would be, which is, as you can see on the file footage, that's about where you can see it. You can't see any further to the left. You just missed the door. And then, of course, it also captures, from about this point, maybe a little bit over here, and then it goes back. This is the field of vision right here. This is all you can see based on the cooler being right here. So, with that in mind, let's see. Let's zoom back out. If the cooler were put in the correct position where I believe it should be, what did I do? Okay. Where I believe it is, and I believe this little bit of information, according to their measurement, kind of backs it up. If this were put in the correct position, then take a guess what the field of vision of the camera would actually capture. And common sense, if they had a camera in the kitchen, you want to be able to see the most valuable part of the kitchen. If you're concerned about theft, and that would be the contents of the cooler. That's what you want to be able to see. So common sense tells you that, okay, well, this should have been capturing the door to that cooler. If you move this over, as shown in my little deal here, it moves it over. I don't know, good. I guess it moves. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see how I could show you guys. This is where the field of vision stops. Where can I draw this at? We know just from looking at the file footage that the field of vision stops like right here. You can see to about right here. And then it goes over. It also captures about, whoops, to maybe right here, maybe. Now, if you reposition the cooler where I believe it is, we would be able to see whether or not she went into that cooler. We'd be able to know. It doesn't lie. It's not, let's see, it doesn't capture. This is where we would be able, where did this come from? Uh-oh, hold on. I think I went too high. You can see here to about here, somewhere around here. If she came through here and she opened this door, we would have seen it. We probably would have, I'm sure, seen at least the hinges that she opened the door and went in there. If they move this out of view, we can't. There's no way for us to know whether or not she opened the door, went in there. We just have to assume based on what they tell us. If the camera was actually, or if the freezer was actually in the location that I believe it is, not only would this make sense, the side of the building, this, and notice how when I do move it over, the exact amount of free space is freed up by here. It fits perfectly. That now this is even, because I don't believe that this was ever the freezer wall right here. I don't believe it was aluminum right there. But you notice how it lines up. It fits pretty much to where this wouldn't be the freezer wall. It would end right there. So something had to fill this void. But by them moving the freezer and the cooler out of the correct position, it takes away our ability to know for certain whether or not she opened that cooler door and went in there. Because she didn't. They moved this out of the way because now they hide the fact that this was open. Now we don't know that. Now they have us believing, okay, it wasn't open back there. There's no way out. No one could have come in. Nothing. There was nowhere to go. So she had to have gone into the cooler because there was nowhere else to go. If this was not true and this was open, then they don't have that argument. They cannot argue that, well, there was no one could have come in. No one could. They don't have that. Now they have to actually prove to us. How do we know that no one came in and attacked her? How do we know that no one was waiting for her back there? How do we know that she even? We don't know any of that. As long as this freezer and cooler is in the correct position. As a matter of fact, their whole story doesn't make any sense because we see clearly that she didn't come in this way and go back around. We see clearly that she didn't go in there. This fits perfectly. That drain in the video that you watched would be draining into that floor drain that's on the floor right here. That's what it's for. And the way they presented the Faro scan, you have to wonder, well, what's the shaded area for? Why is this shaded? They could have cropped this from some other part of the Faro scan. We don't know because we don't see all of the Faro scan. So I can't tell you exactly where this little section comes from. But they could have very easily just cropped this from another location and put it here. But that I can't answer. This door, I don't, it's so many inconsistencies with this Faro scan. You just have to know that this is wrong and this is correct. This actually goes here. I'll go too far? Yeah, right here. Somewhere in there, in this area right here. Oh, right there. Let's see if I can get an exact angle of what the field of vision would be. And that camera. Right here. Whoops, I almost stopped there. So from here, to this camera, and that wall, it captures about to right here. That's our camera view. They moved it just out of view so that you can't see the door or anything. You can't see anything. Because remember, the door actually opens this way. It opens out this way. You would be able to see the door open. If it was moved over, you'd be able to see the door opening, and you could say, you can make the argument, well, she went in there, She went in the cooler. We don't know that because they have it just out of view to where you can't see anything. You missed the door completely. You just missed the door. Based on this angle, it stops right where the door, the hinge, right where the door would be. It's no coincidence that the length of this is identical to the amount of space needed to fit right here. That's no coincidence. I mean, building designers, they design buildings, obviously, it makes sense from a geometric standpoint. This makes no sense. Looking from the outside like this, you'd have the wall going this way. I don't know if they would have a little nook right here from the outside, which would be pointless, or they would have a wall just going straight across, in which case you just have on the inside of the building just a hollow, empty corner for no reason. Either way, it makes no sense, which should tell you that this is incorrect. This is not the layout of the kitchen. It's obviously incorrect. Just look at the Faro scan. It tells you, just looking at how it's, the damn thing like sings with manipulation. The last video I pointed out, when we went through the Faro scan, it kind of, when you get near that wall right here, how it has silver embedded within the white wall. It's because it's all manipulation. This is here. There's nothing right here, or there was something there. There was, I don't know, a door. I would imagine it was probably an exit. That's my guess. I can't see there being a hallway back here, considering if this is actually the corner back here. This was likely an exit, probably like a door they'd use for receiving goods. This entrance right here that goes to the kitchen is much wider than a standard door entrance. It's about maybe 4.5 feet wide, 5 feet, which they would use to accommodate carts, oversized, what do you call them? The little pallets that people bring in, a receiving door. They could receive goods here. This is probably why there may have been a door there, or could have been, I don't know, an emergency exit or something. I don't know. But there was something here. It was not that wall of the freezer. This is why when you listen to bullshit like this.
We were talking and people were asking, this video, motion activated, several hallways, this section by the freezer, an area, the girl's on video, and she is having trouble walking. And is she alone? Is anybody with her?
No, she's alone. The video would have showed all of that and the area where she went. As I stated, there's no way you can get out on the other side. You can only get out one way. I mean, it's solid back there. I looked all over. There's no way you can get out. Not even a window back there.
Are you sure, Andrew? Are you sure? I mean, you said it enough times. Who you trying to convince with that? This whole case was designed so that it would fit the story that they were going to tell. This is all the police is doing. On whose behalf, I don't know. But it's the police that's the corrupt one in this. We wasted a lot of time like trying to figure out which one of the kids. The kids ain't have nothing to do with her death. I don't believe so. I don't believe they did. Now they may have had something to do with some other criminal aspect of the case, which is why their silence has been bought. Or the cops have. Hey, they're not gonna say nothing. They're not gonna say, "Well, I really didn't give them a statement. I really didn't do that." They're not gonna say anything because there's no benefit for them. They can't say anything. If they do, I would imagine that they're going to suffer some consequences. So, what do we do from here? I mean, I'm open to suggestions if y'all have any. What do we do from here? They hold the ball in their court. The cops do. They have the case file. They won't let anybody get a hold of it. We just listen to these liars. That's what they are, just liars. See about this other video. Where is it at? Listen to them just lie. But he's laying. This is called laying groundwork. He's planting the seed early, and he did this in that discussion with Lenora. He's prepping you to accept the bullshit that they're going to come with as reality, because he's letting you know now that these are going to be facts whenever we give them to you, when we're done doing what we need to do, manipulating and coming up with a case file for you guys. We're typing up a bunch of stuff. We're typing up some phone log records. You've never seen a court accepted phone log record that's just typed on regular paper. I mean, where's the Verizon letterhead? Where is the T-Mobile letterhead? Where's the representative that can attest to this stuff? It's just stuff typed on regular paper. This is what they have. They're grunts. They're grunts that are at their station not doing a damn thing. There ain't nothing going on in Rosemont. They got plenty of people to stand around. Hey, man, type this. This is what we're going to need. We're going to have to type this up and make it look official. That's exactly what they did, because none of it makes any sense. And this is why. This is why you don't have any evidence that the kids actually gave a statement. We don't know if they ever said anything. All we know is, well, the police said this is what they said. We don't see any actual signature or anything. We don't know if they ever said anything. We don't know who they interviewed, if they interviewed anybody, or did they just make up the words in those so-called statements.
What we can't do is we can't taint that evidence by giving it out. If we do that, now it can be construed any which way you want. We're looking to do our as you said, due diligence. We're doing the competent investigation. In order to do that, and sometimes it doesn't happen as fast as people like. We have, you're absolutely right. And so what we're doing is we're following it through. We're letting it go. We're doing our interviews. We're doing our surveillance reviews. We're doing our working with the medical examiner's office. We're doing everything so that when we come to the end of this and we make a final statement, we're confident. So we're going to turn and we're going to say to the family, we can say confidently, this is what the investigation has resulted in. We fully want to give them 100%. We want that poor woman who lost her child. I mean, she lost a child here, and that's what we got to maintain our focus. That's more important than anything else. This poor woman's got to bury a child.
This son of a bitch. He could stand there and make these claims and pretend as though that is their main focus. The fact that she lost a child. That's their main focus. That's what he wants us to believe. They scheming us in Rosemont, man. That's what they doing. They scheming in Rosemont. That's what they did. And they wanted us to focus on Miss Teresa. The fact that, the funeral. Look anywhere else. Matter of fact, focus on anything other than what they did. That's what they were satisfied with. I guarantee you, any video that you go to on YouTube. You don't have to remind. It could be any video you go to that's discussing a possibility of what may have happened in the case. Even if they're wrong, you're going to look in the comments. You will always find people that are just throwing like a monkey wrench into everything that that person on that video is talking about. They could be talking about a shadow. Does this look like so and so? Somebody else will go in there and they will mention something about Teresa's 911 call, and they'll say how confused that they were about it. They just, what I'm saying is, the aim is so that there is no consistency ever on any given subject. It's designed so that there will always be disagreement. That's the goal. Always to have disagreements, no matter how plainly obvious what is being pointed out. Someone can identify something and say, "Hey, look at this video. This is Kanika walking down the hall." That's all. That could be the entirety of the video. Yet, if you go down to the comments, you will find somebody that says, "Oh, I don't believe this and that. I think it was so and so and so and so and so and so." That has nothing to do with the video. You will always find that on any single video you go to, because the whole goal is there needs to be confusion about every element of this case. There has to be, because that way you can maintain the narrative that, oh, it's just a bunch of conspiracy theories. That's all it is, just conspiracists. And the wider public, who doesn't really pay much attention to this case, they accept that. Not for mainly because they're lazy and or not interested in finding out what the true facts are. But it appears to them that way if they ever do decide to just check out a little video, because if they want to look at the comments, it's complete chaos in the comments. So it kind of validates their point that, hey, it's just a bunch of conspiracies and people making up this and that and this and that. I mean, that's the whole point. There's got to be confusion. So the art of confusion, that's exactly what it is. They want to confuse us. I maintained that like a long time ago, man. That freezer's not right, man. Something ain't right about that freezer. You look at all the videos. You look back there at that freezer. It's all, it's kind of a little blurry back there. It all looks weird. I'm telling you why. That's why they moved it just where it is, because it just missed it. Based on, because they're not going to move the camera. They can't move the camera. So they just manipulated the video file and said, okay, well, we're going to just add this section, move it over here. We just so happen to not capture her going in the freezer. So, just use your deductive reasoning, and you have to conclude, well, hell, we don't see her leave out of that area. So she must have went in there and laid down, because we never see her leaving until hours later. How do we know it's hours later? Because guess what? Everything's motion activated. Right. Anybody who's ever uploaded a video, man, you could put a video on there. You can go to the middle of your video and chop out a portion of it and hit finish. And when your video plays, it's going to look like, oh, it just skipped in the middle of your video. And then skip, it's because I took a portion of it out. It looked like it jumped. I can tell you, oh, well, it's because it was motion activated right there. So that's when it picked back up. That's crazy. But yeah, I just wanted to show y'all that, the measurements add up. Before, I didn't have a tool where I could actually, give me like some measurements. And I wish I could do it precisely, but given the file they've given you, you can't, like, I can't measure wall to wall. I don't think there's any photo that shows that complete area from, that pantry door to the pantry wall, that little cutoff area where I believe the freezer wall ended. Otherwise, I'd measure that. I could use a tool and just measure that distance. But the map is like the only thing you have to go by. So I just wanted to show y'all that little information. Like I said, I put that tool on there, man. You're welcome to go download it on my community page. I want to download the tool, use little rulers and measurement angles and different shit you could use to measure stuff. And it's about the only area that I was in measuring. Uh, but actually, I'm not. I think the next thing I might do is do like some of those images of Kanika walking in the hallway because we know her height. Uh, Based on, I mean, told us. I think she was 5'6", 5'6", I believe. So I might, hmm, some of those points in time, like in that kitchen east. I don't know. Like she was tall as hell a couple times in there, but I don't. Uh, let me see. I'm back here. Generational curse on 3. She will come back around and smack them dead in the face. They could. I don't know if anybody saw that target forensics file that I posted on my community page. I read that. I really honestly had never even noticed that until the day that they made their request to Facebook for the Facebook Live video. The way they worded it, we want the first generation native format files, the original files. That's what we want. They worded it that way. But yet, when you in surveillance videos, you just let them bring you whatever to bring, right? They can flash drive. You don't want the native format files. Why did you send all that to Rosemont or to Crown Plaza? You know, you sweating Facebook with the authentic live video that you know don't have nothing to do with nothing. The real evidence is that surveillance video, but yet you'll take that any way they give it to you, huh? They know what's going on. They didn't want the native format files, none of that. But yeah, they actually documented it on there. That's what they requested from Facebook. The authentic original files, altered files. Rosemont, yeah, just have your manager bring over the little flash drive. We cool. They're not even gonna question that. But they couldn't. They couldn't do it. So they know what they're doing. We know what we're up against. And to be perfectly honest, where do we go from here? The only question is for them is like, why didn't y'all validate the files? Why didn't y'all authenticate those files? I'm only focused on like how do I get the opportunity to pose that question publicly to them? That's what I want to hear. The answer to that question publicly. How did you guys authenticate the files? Either they're going to say we didn't, or they've got to tell me they authenticated the files, which we know they didn't. They admit publicly that, hell, we didn't. We didn't authenticate them. Okay, so why? Why? Unfortunately, they're not going to answer. But I'm still working on it, man. I'm trying to get that the answer to that question. I'm trying to figure out a way how have them answer that question. We need the original. Yeah, that's what we're not going to get. But Rosemont said they already got it. You know, according to them, they said they already got it. That's what I need to ask them. How do y'all know y'all got the originals? Well, they did everything to corrupt. Yeah, they did. They did everything they possibly could to corrupt the case. So yeah, I just want to present those numbers to you, man. Use that tool and measure the measurements, the angle, the camera, all that. You see how it kind of lines up and why they did what they did, so that they could obscure that door. They didn't. They couldn't have the door showing, or the hinges, or the way the door swings. You know, the angle, the arc of the door. They couldn't show any of that because then they just couldn't allow that. It would destroy their whole lie, the big lie, part two. That's what it was. I'm gonna get out of here, man. I just want to show y'all that. Check it out for yourself. I'm gone.